Hello. Hi everyone. Hi. That music came in hot for spicy Friday morning with your pals at MMA Fighting. This is the MMAfighting.com UFC 295 official weigh-in live stream. Thank you everyone who is tuning in right now. I was gonna say thank you everyone for joining us later, but that'd be an insane thing to say because they wouldn't hear it. We have Jose Young. What's up, everybody? We have Jose Young's on site in New York City. That is the beautiful picture you're seeing in the middle of your screen right now. Weigh-in's brought to you by Prime Energy Drink. In the truck, we have E. Casey Leiden.
Did you give a shout out to Prime?
We have to.
He gave a shout out to Prime.
And
It didn't
Modelo.
even and it didn't even mention the MMA Fighting has two people. It's a rare two-person day. I'm sitting next to the one and only New York Rick.
Whoa.
Whoa! We have Jose Young's and New York Rick in the building. I am not in the building. I am up in Toronto or Toronto-ish area. This is Alexander Kaley, who's your host for the weigh-ins. We'll be starting shortly. I'll shut my yap. I imagine we'll have one of the 4 championship competitors showing up first. I could be very wrong.
Why are you so excited about that?
What?
It could be Loopy. It could be Tabatha Ricci.
It could be
Slavoj
Jamall Emmers, Kevin Borshchev, Steve Erceg. Are we just saying names? We just keep saying names.
There's more than just the top fights. This is a whole card full of fighters.
Excuse me. These are the
Chasing
fighters
their
around
dreams.
These are the fighters around which the card was built, Casey. I don't know if you've heard that before, and that's the only fighters that I care about personally.
All right, fair enough.
All right, I think we still got people jumping in. Joining the stream. It's a little bit. Yeah, that's right, guys. We're on East Coast time. This is not one of those fancy Las Vegas weigh-ins or some of the other odd weigh-in times we've had lately, like 3 a.m. Thursday evening East Coast time.
The worst.
This is a good old-fashioned.
The worst. Time. Really
I'm not saying. I didn't say it, and I'm not saying it. This is. Here we go.
UFC 295 Procházka versus Pereira, and we begin with a man competing in the lightweight division live on the pay-per-view main card. Huntington, New York's own, the 14th ranked lightweight contender, Matt the Steamroller Frevola.
Matt Frevola first, not one of our championship competitors. Not yet, anyway. After a win tonight, I don't know.
155.6.
Oh boy, we got the digital. 155.6. Come back to pose.
Also competing live on pay-per-view in the featherweight division, Pat Sabatini.
Pat Sabatini next.
See, look at you. Oh, it's gonna be one of the championship fighters. No.
I feel like a fool.
145.8 for Pat Sabatini.
145.8 for Pat Sabatini. Yep, that's right, guys. People are not being given any phantom ounces here.
Number 5 ranked contender, Jessica Andrade.
Former strawweight champion, Jessica Andrade.
116 even. 116 weight for Jessica Andrade.
116 for Jessica Andrade.
Our next athlete to the scale will stay in the strawweight division as we welcome the 10th ranked contender, Tabatha Baby Shark Ricci.
Here comes Tabatha Ricci.
I am very excited about this fight.
115.4, the official weight for Tabatha Ricci.
115.4 for Tabatha Ricci, the Baby Shark.
Our next fighter to the scale, one of New York's finest, competing in a lightweight freedom on ESPN Plus, Jared Flash Gordon.
Jared Gordon cards coming out. Yeah, this.
155.6. The official weight for Jared Gordon.
155.6 for Jared Gordon. Big fight ahead for this young man.
Also competing in the lightweight division, Slavoj Viacheslav Borshchev.
Awesome, John.
What a smile.
154.8. 154.8. Viacheslav Borshchev.
Championship weight.
154.8 for Viacheslav Borshchev.
Championship weight. Making a
Championship
statement.
weight.
Our next fighter to the scale, one of the true breakout stars of 2023, kicking off the pay-per-view main
Ooh,
card.
Steve Erwin?
In the featherweight
Nope.
division,
Diego Lopes. A lot of buzz around this young man. Came to the UFC with a lot of experience, and now he's now making a name for himself on the biggest stage.
145.4. 145.4, the official weight for Diego Lopes.
145.4 for Diego Lopes. His fight with Pat Sabatini is official. What's happening right now? Alessandro Costa, one fighter coming in on short notice.
$125.4. 125.4 for Alessandro Costa.
145.4 for Alessandro Costa, coming in for Matt Schnell. The often,
Wait,
I hope everything's all right,
145?
Matt Schnell. 125.4.
Yeah, 125. Okay. Yeah, I was like,
It would have been a little bit over if it was
Yeah.
my mistake.
I can change that. That's-
155.6 for official weight for Nazim Sadykhov.
What was that weight?
145.6. 155.6, excuse me. And his fight with Viacheslav Borshchev
5.6.
is official.
Next fighter to weigh in this morning, making his second US featherweight division, Denis Procházka.
Ooh.
145.6. 145.6, the official weight for Denis Procházka.
145.6 for Denis Prochazka.
Oh, the man the card was built around coming next.
Oh.
All right, next man up is the number 14 ranked flyweight vendor competing in the feature prelim live on ESPN News, Steve Erceg.
As you said, Casey, one of the big names, Steve Erceg.
125.6. 125.6 Steve Erceg.
125.6 for Steve Erceg, and his fight with Alessandro Costa is now official. Steve Erceg, another young man who might be in the running for UFC Rookie of the Year. Had a big year. Shocked some people this week. Josh Van. A lot of hype around this young man. He's making his second UFC appearance. 125.8 for Joshua Van. We are still awaiting his opponent, Kevin Borges. Casey, I really nailed that top four fighters coming in first prediction, didn't I?
Good job.
On
Good
the money.
job.
On the money.
I can tell you've done this before. You're a pro.
Mateusz Rebecki.
155.8. 155.8. Just wait for Mateusz Rebecki.
155.8 for Mateusz Rebecki.
You're good.
All right, next athlete to weigh in this morning, competing at
No, I was last backstage. You may wait, get off the movement.
Kyung Ho Kang. Mr. Perfect, I believe this guy is. Been in the UFC for a long time.
138 pounds, the official weight for Kyung Ho Kang.
138. This is a catch weight bout. This is a 138-pound catch weight bout. Kyung Ho Kang is on weight.
A little bit of a break now.
Exciting.
So anyway, that was a scheduled 138-pound catch weight bout. Not sure what the reason for the change. Just two fighters deciding, you know what, make their lives easier. Just waiting for John Castaneda. So a couple of fights official. None of the top four, as as I had predicted. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone coming. So, yes, for anyone just tuning in who may have just missed that initial rush, we have the graphic up on screen if you guys want to catch up. And your eyes are not deceiving you. We have not seen Jiri Procházka, Alex Pereira, Sergei Pavlovich, nor Tom Aspinall. Casey, I've got to send you a little spelling correction that, again, I missed. I don't know why I always miss these things when we do our first run. Check your Slack. You get the chance. I think I spelled it right. All right. So anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. This is Alexander K. Lee. You can see Casey Lyden's face on screen as well. We have Jose Youngs and New York Rick on site at the weigh-ins, bringing you this beautiful footage, and hopefully we can have them chime in later. But for now, we'll just wax poetic about this card here. Again, waiting for our championship competitors, waiting for Mackenzie Dern, Benoit Saint-Denis, Loopy Godinez, Ultimate Fighter 31 semifinalist Roosevelt Roberts, Mark Madsen, John Castaneda, Kevin Borges, and Jamall Emmers. So quite a healthy lineup of fighters still to come. Fingers crossed everyone makes weight without issue, especially our top 4 competitors, especially our top 2 competitors, Casey, because the light heavyweight division, once one of the this is like a cliche at this point, once the marquee division in the UFC has just been in a strange period right now, with at least at the top. There's definitely some talented fighters in there. Feels like there's good contenders in there. What we don't have is an undisputed champion. Do we have another? Someone? Oh, here we go.
Oh.
I believe this is Mark Madsen.
Hold on, let's get this young man out of my shot.
154.6 for Mark Madsen, and his fight with Jared Gordon is official.
150. What's the weight again?
154.6.
Oh, championship weight. Wow.
Yes. That fight is official. Definitely one to watch there. Jared Gordon really looking to get something going. Oh, got more.
I think I love Mark Madsen mostly because Rogan will call him O Madsen at some point.
Yeah, because acknowledging his Irish heritage. Here's one of our top 4. Here we go. One of our headliners.
Look at this guy.
204 even. 204 pounds, the official weight for Alex Pereira.
204 on the dot for Alex Pereira, comfortably under championship weight. Looking to become, I believe, just the 9th man to claim 2 UFC titles in 2 separate divisions. Shout outs to Mike Vaughn and Michael Carroll for that fact checking. It's a hell of a list. I'll read the list in a second when I'm sure not someone else isn't coming up. Let's give that a bit.
Man,
someone asking.
Talk about timing. Has anyone had a more perfect career as far as like timing, like to come right and you know what I mean, or right?
This is because it gets. You can't do better, but we'll see with Bo Nickel. Maybe Bo Nickel can.
No, not even Bo Nickel. No way.
No, not yet.
No way.
We'll see.
Bo Nickel had to fight 2 contender series fights. Like,
oh, that's true. That's true.
And Bo Nickel hasn't fought anyone in the top. Yeah.
But he'll be close if he can become middleweight champion, like his 6th fight, UFC fight or something, MMA fight. That'd be crazy. I don't know if he has plans to chase 2 divisions, but who doesn't these days? Benoit Saint-Denis.
You were talking, okay, so I didn't hear the weight.
Did they say it?
Yeah, they said it.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry. I'm watching our stream and then also our YouTube stream at the same time, like a fool. Apologies, guys. I will have that for you in 1 second. That was straight up Bush League. Oops. That was Bush League, guys. Benoit Saint-Denis. And now people are missing the sweet music. That's really 156 for Benoit Saint-Denis, and his fight with Matt Frevola, an absolute banger, is now official. Thank you, guys. Apologies for the delay there.
Hey, point your camera
yes.
down. You're falling out of the frame.
Oh, geez. And I should be showing I meant to say happy Memorial Day to you Americans, and also Remembrance Day to Canadians, which will be on Saturday. Veterans Day. You guys have Memorial Day too, though, right?
Memorial Day is in May.
I apologize. Happy Veterans Day to all who celebrate in America, and Saturday will be our Remembrance Day up here in Canada. So I am rocking the poppy. I'm rocking the poppy. All right, I'll read. I just know as soon as I start, someone's going to come out. But anyway, Alex.
You're going to read?
No, not the whole thing. I just want to say Alex Pereira will join Randy Couture, BJ Penn, Conor McGregor, George St. Pierre, Daniel Cormier, Henry Cejudo, Amanda Nunes, and John Jones. That's a hell of a list of fighters who have won UFC championships in 2 divisions. So, again, if you had told...
Yeah, if he wins tomorrow night, he is a UFC Hall of Famer. He is a...
I mean,
he is a UFC legend. He's a Mount Rushmore fighter.
Even if he doesn't win tomorrow, as long as he hangs around the UFC for another couple of years, he's... I'm trying to think of who has won a UFC title that won't, besides some of the obvious names that Dana White doesn't like. Frank Shamrock. That won't make it into the UFC. Probably some recent names.
I think there's quite a few champions.
I was like, Nico Montano probably not making the cut. But it's a pretty strong. I mean, yeah, that's right, Johnny.
Jamall Hill. You think Jamall Hill's an automatic UFC Hall of Famer?
No, not automatic. I didn't say Alex Pereira is automatic either. I said if he winning a title gives you a big leg up on making it. It's already kind of puts you on like a short.
If he wins tomorrow night, he is a shoo-in for now a legendary status.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You know, that if he wins tomorrow, he could retire on Monday, and he would still be a Hall of Famer.
Okay, you mentioned all the fighters who had opportunities to win 2 belts.
Oh yes. Yeah.
He has to do it by far with the least amount of UFC fights by far.
It's not even close. Yeah, it's like 6. Conor was pretty quick, but it would still be like 6 or 7 more fights, I think, than Poatan. BJ also was. It took a while.
No one's gonna beat his record as far as like the perfect timing to come into the UFC right when the division needed him, I guess, or the storylines were right there. Get 2 title shots in 2 different divisions. His 3rd title shot, rather, really. And how many UFC fights is this now?
He is the only person to headline MSG twice.
That's true. Yes, correct.
Holy
First
moly.
UFC fighter to do it. Yes, he would be by far. This is his 7th. Sorry. He's had 6 UFC fights. This would be his 7th UFC fight. Just his
3 of them title fights.
11th MMA fight. 11th MMA fight could become a 2-division champion. And credit to the UFC, the matchmakers. We give them crap all the time for not building people up right. Alex Pereira, as soon as when he committed to MMA and picked up some crazy ass knockout in LFA, we were all saying well, the logical thing is you've got to bring him into the UFC now at some point. No contender series crap. Bring this guy in and find a way to build him towards Izzy. And it wasn't like guaranteed. There was a little bit of there was a little bit of there are grapplers and wrestlers at middleweight that can give him a problem, but if they do it right and they pick the right 3 opponents, they played up the Izzy feud beautifully. When the fight came around, there was no questioning it. There was he's getting a title shot too early. No, it was all we know about this history. The time he knocked out Izzy went viral. They played it beautifully. We got 2 very compelling fights out of it, and now you've got a guy who's also
the time he knocked out Izzy. Which one? You talking about the kickboxing?
The kickboxing, yeah.
But that didn't go viral. That went viral. To the build up of the fight, it didn't go viral at the time.
People were talking about that knockout for a long time. As soon as you may not have been privy to the conversations, Casey, but people were talking about that for a long time.
When Izzy was just fighting in China. When Izzy was just fighting in China?
What do you mean?
I saw.
No, but I mean, by the time Izzy made to the UFC.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. After, yeah.
That's what I mean. But even before Pereira made it to the UFC, there was did you know about this guy who knocked out Izzy? This guy, and then when Pereira made his LFA debut, all the hype was. We have headlines in MMAfighting.com are guy who knocked out Izzy at this time.
Okay, that's what I meant. Afterwards. Okay, I think I meant in the moment.
Yeah, and that's
I
why
remember seeing Alex Pereira fight in Glory. I was at his event. It was just okay, he was just no, he wasn't a main eventer. He was just a good fighter on the card. It was he was never a star in Glory. It was interesting.
That's
just correcting us. Hall of Famer.
That's
Hall
right.
of
He's
Famer
already
now.
a Hall of Famer for Glory. Yeah. MMA Cruz is correcting us. Pereira wins second belt in 7th fight. It took Connor 9 Couture, excuse me. Randy Couture 9 fights, Connor 10. So maybe a bit of hyperbole for me. I'm known for it. Sometimes I just make things up, but that's still a lot. That's still a pretty big gap. Also, when you think about the different sort of different eras. I mean, back then, it's not like they were handing out 2 divisions, opportunities, but also it's like everything was a little bit thinner. And if you had a name like a Randy Couture, you could conceivably go between light heavyweight and heavyweight. And it's not like there was a long row of contenders to go through. They just kind of made championship fights. Connor, impressive as hell as well. Both are impressive. Couture in 9 and Connor in 10, both incredibly impressive. Connor, a much bigger worldwide star, than Alex Pereira, and so he kind of got that opportunity pretty quickly. So when you consider Pereira getting in his seventh UFC fight, 11th MMA fight, it just still sounds so crazy, and yet it feels right. Right, like it feels like he earned these opportunities, right? There's no part of us that's like, oh, how did he get to? We're like, yeah, this just seemed like something logical.
Oh no, it just seems the matchmaking was set up for him to do this, and that's good for him. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Timing.
Yeah, Jan Blachowicz, not an easy fight. It's not like they handed Alex Pereira a title shot. It's not like they gave him some guy like, oh yeah, you're just gonna smoke this guy. It's like, no, we're gonna give you a former champion, a guy who can wrestle. He's gonna test your grappling defense. Have fun with that. Who has a win over Izzy at 205. It was a tough fight too. I mean, I'm sure there's people who were not super convinced that Alex Pereira was like the guy to beat.
It was definitely not a very Pereira. Like you don't go back. You don't go to that fight to watch highlights. It's very interesting.
No.
It's an interesting fight to get the.
But what I enjoyed about that fight is everything I said about what I wanted to see from jail tonight. Pereira very clearly lost the first round, so he was down 1-0, and then so he had to win the first 2. And I mean, they were both sucking air up there in altitude in Salt Lake City. So yeah, I learned that's one of those fights I just learned a lot about Alex. Very impressive one.
Yeah, I agree with that. You want to see guys go through the mud sometimes, right? Especially going to a new division. People saying, well, they want to see him fight for the title, sooner rather than later. You want to see him go through the mud, and I think we're all kind of happy. This was kind of the people's main event, even when Stipe and John Jones when that matchup was still alive. I think a lot of people were still, as far action wise, looking forward to Jiri and Alex Pereira. So well deserving of the headlining spot, I feel. I don't know, Case. Did you feel that way? Were you more excited for this fight than Stipe and John Jones?
Oh, absolutely. But I'm not the UFC fan base anymore.
Right.
I'm not. Yeah, you know what I mean. Like, of course, this fight and this fight is gonna sell way less.
Yes.
I mean, so clearly, the UFC accountants and the UFC brass is not happy with this, But this is obviously for us fight fans. This is awesome, spectacular.
Yeah, so they had. That's what made, I think, having Jones and Stipe at the top so perfect, right? Is you have that, you had the marquee names, you had, like you said, the guys who were a little more proven to sell pay-per-views right at the top, and then you have that co-main event, which is the people's main event. It was a really perfect 1-2 punch, and I think the 1-2 punch we have here is great, but to your point, the average Jamoke doesn't know Jiri Procházka, doesn't know Alex Pereira. Alex Pereira, probably the most famous out of the 4, just because of the 2 Izzy fights. But then Sergei Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall. I'm trying to think how much they've competed on pay-per-view. Aspinall has never competed on pay-per-view. I don't know if that's a surprise to anyone. It probably shouldn't be to surprise to anyone. Pavlovich has, I have to assume. I'm checking now.
Yeah,
Pavlovich.
He fought Derek Lewis in Dallas.
And that's it. So 2 guys who are making a case that they could be the number 1 heavyweight in the world. We'll discuss that further later. And only 1 pay-per-view between them. 1 pay-per-view appearance between them, excuse me. So, Casey, you are correct. We have, as far as star power goes, a big drop-off.
Tom's never done a press conference in front of fans because he's only done fight nights, and then there were no fans at the press conference yesterday.
That's right. He never got to, So, and listen, Tom's got a lot of star power. So, good opportunity for him.
I didn't. Oh, hey, Jose, your mic's making a lot of noise.
I know. I ripped my mic out by mistake.
Here's Loopy Godinez.
It's loud. Loopy.
Right here, Loopy.
115, the official weight for Loopy Godinez.
Loopy Godinez, 115. That's championship weight. Her fight with Tabatha Baby Shark Ricci is official.
Thank you, sir.
That's a good scrap. I have no idea who to pick in that fight. I have not made my pick yet.
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm picking Loopy. Loopy is
Man.
one of my favorite fighters to watch easily. I absolutely love her fighting style. I love this fight.
She is treating her career like she's a boxing amateur. Like she just wants as many fights as possible. She likes getting paychecks. She likes getting into wars. She wants to fight top 10 people. She doesn't top 10 people, but she does not care. She wants to get in there. We have banned her actually, Casey, from our matchmaking show because it's impossible to predict her matchmaking. Because after she fights, she could compete again anytime within the next like 6 weeks. So she's actually ineligible for on to the next one.
I'm pretty confident. Win or lose, she'll probably, if she's healthy, she'll probably be fighting in Canada next. I would imagine.
I like it. Yes, I would hope so. That would fit her schedule too. Actually, that might be too long for her. I think she want to get. Oh no. Okay, we're not that far.
She trains now
guys
in Mexico, right?
You guys obviously watched me today because you consume the product. She said,
of course,
she's gonna start listening to her body a little bit more. She said, after her last fight, she was healthy, so she took the fight. But she said that she knows herself and she could be on vacation and get a call, and then she just flies home to start training. So,
jeez, Louise,
not even cheating.
What a warrior!
Hey, that's
warrior.
That's her job. She chose the life of a professional fighter.
She certainly has. Yeah. Listen, run through those fights, keep getting those contracts, Loopy, and keep getting those paychecks, and working your way up the ladder. She's just one run away from like competing for that title, and she has the talent to do it. She certainly, again, has got some names on there. Some names she's beaten, some names she hasn't, but she has been in there with some high level talent already. So that's a great looking fight.
It is okay.
Yeah, thank you, Jose. I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that validation. We're still waiting for Jiri, Procházka, Sergei, Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall, Mackenzie, Dern from the main card. Again, we got several big fights here on the UFC's annual return trip to Madison Square Garden. Casey, what fight?
Say it again.
Annual. Yeah.
You say it weird.
How do you say it?
I know I say it normal.
On the wall.
Hey, say nuclear.
Nuclear.
Oh, you scum.
Get out of here.
I went to college.
You and your
I always knew AK was a pile of garbage.
We were talking about
Casey,
that a lot in Slack.
Is that and in the public channel, not private, not like DMing each other, just like in our community.
Like, why do we keep tagging him?
And I said, "Did you guys put this in the wrong chat?" And you were like, "No." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Casey, is Tabatha Ricci Loopy the fight you're most looking forward to outside of the top two fights?
That one, that's right. Outside the top two fights.
Top two.
I'm just a big Loopy fan. I love her fighting style, but the fight I'm most looking forward to is actually. I'm really interested in Andrade Dern, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Same, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it hasn't really talked about a lot this week, I feel like, but I feel this a big fight for Dern, you know. Is this Dern's first time on a pay-per-view?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
Jose would know better than UFC 273. Was this main card? 270. Yes, main card.
That was
256.
Well, she fought on pay-per-view. I don't remember.
She's done a couple. Yeah, she's been on a couple of main cards. UFC 273, 256,
and I know.
224 as well.
256 was an Apex card.
Oh, okay.
Those don't count.
That's right. December 20. That's true. December 2020.
In the flyweight division, Kevin Borjas.
Kevin Borjas.
$125.8.
Kevin.
Borjas.
Right here. 5, 4.
125. Come here, Kevin.
Thank you.
125.8 for Kevin Borjas. His fight with Joshua Van, who also weighed in 125.8, is official.
Now, I don't know a lot about Kevin Borjas, but I know Joshua Van is
Yeah.
a high level prospect and super
Oh, yeah.
exciting. Tell me about Kevin Borjas.
He's from Peru, which I love. That is where my one half of my family is from. So viva Peru, fighting out of the nation's capital, Lima. 25 years old. From the Contender Series, he earned a contract this past August, Casey. Other than that, I'll be honest, I don't know a ton about him. I don't know a lot about his competition that he fought over in Peru. That's where he did his a lot of his career before coming to America. I don't know if he's. I actually don't know if he's hooked up with a American gym. I do know that he was up until recently fighting out of Peru, so probably still the case. But yeah, 8-1, 8-1. That was right. 9-1 record, excuse me, and yeah, looking good. But definitely the quote unquote B
Very
side.
little known really about him.
Yeah, definitely the quote unquote B side in this matchup. But hey, these guys are both prospects. When it comes to prospects, you never know. But yeah, Joshua Van, a ton of hype, hovering around a minus 240 favorite on the betting lines. So, but yeah, hey, I'm like I said, I don't know a lot about Borjas, so I'm not going to count him out. Maybe he's the next flyweight prospect, right? But Joshua Van has had a lot of buzz around him for really the past couple of years now. So.
I like that.
Maybe
He's the fiery prospect. I don't know.
I'm not making any picks now, and definitely people do not listen to me when it comes to gambling. So we have a nice podcast.
We're not talking gambling. We're just talking about who we think we're gonna win.
Yeah, but people only care about that for money, Casey. They don't care about like, oh, I just want to be right so I can see it. No, people just want to make money. They want to be rich betting on MMA, which is a noble pursuit, if you ask me. And if that is your pursuit, guys, go to check out our MMA fighting podcast, always by the wonderful Jed Mishu and GC Connor Burks, called No Bets Barred. You can listen to that. And I always say never gamble on MMA, but if you must, use DraftKings promo code the MMA Hour, and it's a little treat there. But don't gamble on MMA. It's just silly. It's just a silly thing to do.
And tell them we sent you.
But yeah, exactly. Yeah, if you do, just say blame us for it. Casey, what are you gonna do with heavyweight if Sergei or Tom Aspinall puts on a really impressive performance? I'll tell you right now. What
would not be an impressive performance by the winner? What do you mean?
Like a Derek Lewis, Francis Ngannou type fight, where like they're just doing nothing for 3 rounds.
What happened once, and that's
yes. You literally just asked me what.
Okay, so if that one thing that happened,
AK, you're not allowed to answer questions correctly.
This is true. I apologize. Should not have.
Because if you're correct, that means the other person is incorrect. And we can't have that.
This is true. This is not between the links. I apologize.
So basically, if they only fight 3 rounds, and they don't hit each other enough, that will be the.
What if we get apparently the most hated performance in MMA history, Casey? What if one of these guys does a Jailton Almeida and just holds the other guy down for 3 rounds and gets and does nothing, which I've been told has ruined. I've been told that ruined Jailton Almeida's career. So if that happens,
I hear the UFC is not going to book him ever again. Yeah, he's done.
So let's say by some chance someone wins Casey in unimpressive fashion, can they still become your number 1 heavyweight? Keeping in mind that we don't know how long John Jones will be out. Dana White threw out an 8-month number, which is a long time, and I think if that's the case, I've told people I'm probably just taking Jones out of my rankings now, as opposed to waiting for some whatever deadline that we normally set for inactivity. If I don't take him out, I will at least drop him. I don't know what your feelings are on it. Will you bump up Aspinall, or you currently have Aspinall number 2 and Sergei number 4? Will you bump either man up to number 1?
Who do I have at 3?
Steel Gun.
Okay. Quite possibly. Yes, with an impressive, most likely from Aspinall. If Aspinall kind of dominates and wins a fight with taking relatively little damage, then I probably would bump Aspinall to the number one ranked heavyweight in the world. If Aspinall wins and if it's more of a competitive fight, which I hope it is. I hope it's actually competitive just for entertainment value. Then Jones will probably stay at 1.
I'm just throwing up a poll now. Is the winner of the UFC 295 co-main event MMA's #1 heavyweight? I'm anticipating a strong no response here, but let's ask the people, Casey. Let's ask the people. Oh, man of the people, please vote in the poll. Let us know. Will you crown the co-main event winner as the #1 heavyweight? I am inclined to do so.
And the reason I say that is because if Aspinall wins dominantly, wins big, and then if you were to ask me who would win between Aspinall and John Jones, I would pick Tom Aspinall based on an outstanding performance tomorrow night. So that's
spicy. I like that. The other reason I think for me it would be easy to put either of these men over John Jones is John Jones technically has one fight at heavyweight. I know we want to acknowledge his greatness at light heavyweight, no question. If we're talking pound for pound, you still put him over probably both these guys. But it's just the one. And the win over Cyril Gane was super impressive. I don't want people to downplay it. I know a lot of people are like, well, Cyril has no grappling. I'm like, fine, whatever. That's
Cyril
the matchup with John.
Cyril does have grappling. John Jones has exploited every hole that Gane has.
And either way, that's the match.
Gone like he's never wrestled before in his life. It's like no, he has. He's a good defensive wrestler, just not good enough to match that moment that John Jones came out for to make his heavyweight debut.
Yeah. And listen, that's the matchup John got. All right, John didn't make that matchup. He got a matchup. Cyril Gane, pretty unanimous top 3 heavyweight. I'd be very surprised if heading into that fight someone didn't have him in their top 3. So he did what he did. Like if Tom Aspinall did that to like Cyril Gane, or Sergei Pavlovich did that to Cyril Gane, we'd be like, oh well, I mean Cyril doesn't have any grappling. Like no, we just be like, holy crap, they dominated this guy. So we got to give John Jones credit for that. That said, again, that's one heavyweight win. Is that enough to keep Sergei Pavlovich or Tom Aspinall outside the top spot? Let's just look at some of Sergei's and Tom's wins here. Some of Sergei's notable wins, really his past 4 fights. I count Jamall Emmers, if you don't want to count that, his past 3. Curtis Blades, huge win, I think, to have. Tai Tuivasa, top 5, top 10 at the time for sure. Derek Lewis, perennial contender, was top 10 when Sergei beat him. So that to me is a pretty strong resume. I would be very comfortable if you add Tom Aspinall to that, putting him at the #1 of the heavyweight rankings. Tom Aspinall, Arlovsky, Sergei Spivak, Volkov, and now marching to Burr in his comeback fight. So not a bad resume either.
Yeah, and it's not the names for Aspinall for me. It's just the dominance. Dominant. Like Pavlovich and Aspinall, like if you calculate how much time they've actually had in the cage, it's nothing. Like we know so little about these guys, to be honest, especially under duress, or how are they when their gas tank is empty, how can they take a shot, so it's just so because they've been too dominant, it's just we just don't know like we don't really know very much about Gelton Almeida's stand up still. We're like he was good enough not to get hit hard from Derek Lewis, That's about all we know.
That's why I think my prediction that I've sort of worked out for this fight is I'm predicting it goes past the first sorry guys, I'm just multitasking here. I'm predicting it goes past the first 2 rounds and then ends in the 3rd or 4th, but I mean based on histories maybe that's not the case, and maybe I'm just wishing that this happens, like for the reasons you said, Casey. I just want to kind of know more about these guys as contenders. In all likelihood, I haven't checked the odds. I'm sure first round finish either way is way ahead, but you never know.
And I don't remember this. It's been a while. I'm looking at Tapology. This is a straight pick 'em. 53% versus 47% as far as who the fans really aren't leaning either way for these guys. Like this is a straight, very, very highly competitive fight on paper.
Yeah, and that's great, and that's why I like this fight a lot. This is why the UFC can't lose, man, because they can throw together fights like this at a moment's notice and kind of have.
Yeah, you're right. UFC can't lose. They can either win really big or win, and this card is a win.
It's a win already. It's a win, right? I mean, you could say they lost. Oh, they lost. Sure, they lost a big fight. They lost maybe 100,000, maybe 150,000, maybe even more. But it doesn't matter. Again, we always talk about ESPN Plus deal. They're playing with house money. It's still going to do a good number, I think. Not like an amazing pay-per-view number, but I do think we talked about this. We talked about this at the beginning of every year now with the new era of how many events there are. Like, I think people do sort of set aside a budget for like, well, I'm going to wait for some of the fourth quarter events because that's usually when they bring some big fights with two card events with 2 title fights, and they probably already earmarked off 295. So I mean, they're either saving their money, entirely possible, or saying, screw it, we still got some great fights on here. We still got 2 title fights. We might be seeing the number 1 heavyweight in the world competing. We might be seeing the top 2 heavyweights in the world, frankly, competing in the co-main, and that's fun to say. The one name I didn't mention was Francis Ngannou. I think we can all agree we're just not looking at him in the MMA rankings right now. But if he, I was going to say, if he was still competing, or if he even competes in the PFL in first quarter of 2024, let's say he competes in MMA, which again, not a guarantee. I think we all know there's a very good chance he does not come back to MMA anytime soon. Very good chance. Let's say somehow the PFL manages to get him back in there, despite Don Davis saying even he doesn't know who they're going to match him up with. Does any win put Francis back up top? It doesn't matter as long as any win against a notable PFL.
Absolutely.
He's number 1 again.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think I would lean the same way too. Jose, are you with us? He might have gone to take a break. Okay, that's all right. When Jose comes back, I will get his opinion. Jose is not, I will say, not a member of our official rankings panel. His take's a little too spicy. So
I would say unless Francis fights someone outside of top 30 and I don't want to say squeaks by a decision, but wins maybe a lackluster or I don't know, but even then, I mean, unless it's a split decision where like, it can gone either way, it can easily go, like the Dominic Reyes John Jones fight, like, most people thought it was, Dominic won, but whatever. Unless Francis does something like that, any win for him keeps him as the number 1 ranked mixed martial arts heavyweight in the world. Yes.
For Smokin' in the comments says, even if Francis doesn't fight, he's still number 1. Come on, y'all. I kind of agree. I do wonder how much that has to do with all of us still being a little bit high off of the Fury boxing match, right?
Francis is number 1, but based on our criteria as far as activity, he is not. But if you were to ask me, Francis versus John, Francis versus whoever, I would pick Francis, even though he's technically unranked, based on our criteria.
Yeah.
But if we eliminate the whole activity part, of course Francis is the best heavyweight in the world right now.
Come January, it will be 2 years since Francis most recently competed in MMA. Again, like you said, our criteria is 18 months. Some people don't have a removal policy. I know. I still see comments asking us, "Where's Stipe in the heavyweight rankings? Like, why is Stipe not ranked? Where's Stipe?" And it's like Stipe has not fought in almost 3 years. I think come March. I want to say come March or something. It'd be like 3 years since Stipe has fought. But again, if you don't have a policy of whatever, changing your ranking every month, every 2 months like we do, I understand if you're just like, well, I don't want to, why would I take people out? Like, I know Stipe is better than this guy, even though just because they've been active, why do they get Stipe's spot? I'm like, I guess that's okay, but I want, I'm for rewarding activity, and
you have to. Yeah, why do you fight?
I think so. Hey, listen, ask a lot of the UFC fighters who are getting in there, putting there 3 or 4 times a year, somehow not getting any closer to a title shot, while guys just come out of retirement and leap over them. I don't know. It must be frustrating. That's all I'm going to say. It cannot be fun. Murad Dvalishvili, if you're out there, I feel for you, sir. I feel for you.
Yeah, that's why timing is everything in this dumb sport.
We just said Alex Pereira, the best timing. When we do a damn, they were good for Alex Pereira, and there will be one. Let me tell you something. I think this headline will be: did anyone have better timing and better better booking in their career? That's a long headline, but than Alex Pereira. And again, well deserved. We're not saying he was handed anything. He was just handed the right opportunities, and he took advantage of every single one. Just like Conor McGregor did, just like Ronda Rousey did, just like That's how it goes.
Ronda was not given favorable matchmaking.
Not favorable matchmaking, but good opportunities.
Yeah, opportunities. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
No, she beat. I will to this day. I feel a bit bad that I was not on the Ronda Rousey. Damn, they were good because I.
They did one. I wouldn't have been on that one. I've always said Ronda still one of the most underappreciated MMA fighters ever, especially.
It's
now.
weird. And this is why we do shows like Dan, because people just once a fighter's career like becomes like 5 years old, suddenly it's like, oh, everyone they beat is crap, or they didn't beat anyone good, and it's like that's just not a thing. And like you have to really, especially with the shambles that women's bantamweight is in now. Now people you go like, oh, she was the best women's bantamweight, like dominant. People go like, what does that even mean? I'm like, it means at the time the bantamweight division was actually good,
by far way better 6-7 years ago.
It was legitimately good. It was legitimately good. This is not a if you took those versions of those women and put them in the bantamweight division now, they would still probably be the top 5. Like if you took Miesha Tate Miesha Tate's still a good fighter, but if you took her in closer to athletic prime, she's probably still in the top 5. So it's not like the skill level of bantamweights has surpassed that era. No, it's like they're still great fighters. If you took prime Rousey, she's still dominating this group of fighters. I hate to say it, but I'd pick her over Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington, Mayra Bueno Silva. I just would.
I don't
Controversial
know.
take.
I don't know about that anymore because Ronda would have to. The biggest. I don't want to get off on a Ronda thing. Sorry. I think Ronda just never. She got so good, but she peaked and didn't. What's the word? She couldn't evolve, and the other bantamweights evolved and learned from Ronda. Like, oh, this is how we stop this. This is how we stop this. But Ronda had to get everyone to that level, though.
Yeah, this is true. No, yeah, that's probably the right way to frame it. I think that's right. D Nile 218 saying John should vacate like Jamall and Jiri did. Yeah, the John Jones situation is, again, like I said, it's very weird. We don't know when he's coming back. I think a lot of people are latching on to the 8 month number, and it could be, and it could just be that he could be ready to perform before that, but that it just falls in line with like International Fight Week.
We don't know. That is just a number Dana.
That's just Dana White doing it. Dana White doing it. Could be sooner. Again, could be later. We don't know. That's just a number. It will be
a minimum of 6 months.
Minimum 6.
Could easily be longer. And John Jones is someone who will only fight when he's 110%, and in the right opponent. So he may be ready like in 8 months, but the timing as far as the right pay-per-view and the right opponent could be much longer.
Yeah, and he's earned that with what he's done in his career inside the cage.
Oh, who are we waiting for? Is it tough alum Roosevelt Roberts?
I hope so. Oh. So happy he's getting his opportunity. I think they should have signed him anyway off of. But what I know, the semifinal fight with Austin Hubbard left a bad taste in people's mouths. I get it.
That's God, yeah. So dumb.
Sorry, Casey. I hate to tell you. I know it's a traumatic episode, but he's obviously a UFC level fighter, whatever that means these days.
And Jason Knight, who is fighting. Was it tomorrow, right? Gamebred, right?
In the boxing, yeah, bare knuckle boxing or bare knuckle MMA.
I think it's bare knuckle MMA.
Okay. He should have been brought back
against Randy Costa, right? Is it Jason Randy Costa?
Yeah, another former UFC fighter. Yeah. They're peaking. Don't be shy. They're saying, don't be shy.
I like bare knuckle MMA. I actually enjoy it. I like the concept of bare. Oh, where we're going?
It's as God intended.
Yeah. Oh.
Our next fighter to weigh in, the other man around whom this pay-per-view was built, the former UFC light heavyweight champion and now #1 ranked contender, Jiri Prochazka.
The former Rising champ.
Don't forget it.
.204.2. 204.2 official weight for Jiri Prochazka.
204.2 for Jiri Prochazka. His fight with Alex Pereira is now official.
204.2. You gotta wait till the graphic. Come on.
I don't have time. I got my own things going on in my life. 204.2. Both men.
It's a team. Okay.
Comfortably under the I'm a lone wolf. Comfortably under the light heavyweight limit. Again, Pereira 204, Prochazka 204.2. No need to do a full rundown. We'll wait another 10 minutes to wait for the
Are you scared?
The top of the hour.
Are you scared? Is that why?
A little bit. I'm scared of a lot of things, so that's a good assumption either way.
Yeah, Mike was never scared.
No, Mike is scared of nothing. That's why he's my best friend. He checks under my bed for me at night. He opens the closet for me. That's why we're best friends.
Mike heck.
He tats my tit and I tit his tat. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't like anything about that sentence.
Oh, Jose's back. Jose, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, we can't monetize now because of that sentence. Yeah, we have to.
I was never not here.
Jose, can I ask you a question?
I don't know, man. After that whole whatever that was, I don't trust you anymore.
Well, you never
Anyway,
should
what
have
do you
trusted
want
me in
to
the
know?
first place.
What do you want to know? That's true.
Sergei Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall, the winner of Saturday, #1 heavyweight in MMA.
Yes. No.
John
Jones is the #1 fighter on planet Earth.
Okay.
As
I think.
As New York Rick nods and says agreed.
All right. Okay.
I can't put anyone above John Jones in the heavyweight division, considering he's #1 in any weight class in my mind.
Okay. So this involves some who would some hypothetical matchmaking, like who would this person beat, right? So which certainly is factored into the rankings, especially Jed Meshew, foremost in our on our rankings panel. The esteemed Jed Meshew. You may be familiar with his work. Damn, They Were Good. No Bets Barred. Multiple time Between the Links champion. You may be familiar with his work. He puts a lot of emphasis, I should say, on whether he thinks a fighter could beat other fighters as opposed to necessarily who they have beaten. And I can tell you, John Jones right now is not our unanimous #1
I'm
in our
very
heavyweight
aware.
rankings. We have
I'm very aware, but for
seven
for ranking wise, I very much take consideration. This might sound far fetched, but my rankings are reality based on what has already happened, and I can visibly see. Because if you not forget, you guys were talking about is who's that bag of soup in the heavyweight division. That was like, is he the #1 heavyweight in the world? I'm like, no, he's not. Who's the guy? Who's the one? He had the forearm choke. Oh my God, it's gonna bother me.
I don't know who you're talking about at all.
Yes, you do. Romanov.
Okay, Romanov, yeah.
And I was like, no, he's not #1. He and Jed's like, well, he could beat someone in the top 5. Someone in the top 5. I'm like, yeah, but he hasn't.
Yeah, Romanov is a high-level prospect, and he hasn't really panned out.
I understand. No, I'm talking about at the time when he was undefeated. There were talks in our Slack channel of whether Romanov is already a top 5 heavyweight based on potential, and that's just not. I'm just explaining that's not how I rank fighters.
Yeah,
if that's how people rank fighters. So be it. But I just hadn't seen him fight anyone in the top 10 yet, so I didn't want to put him in the top 10.
Now, by that logic, though, you haven't seen. Oh, you've seen John Jones beat one top 10 heavyweight. Oh, I guess, but you would rank Gon over all the guys that Sergei and Tom Aspinall beat, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then John takes that spot. Okay, that's fair. That's pretty logical, actually. Yeah, that's more than fair. And I just wanted to finish my thought before that. Tom Aspinall, and I know Jed, you want Jose, you didn't want to hear this. That Tom Aspinall is #1 in Jed's MMA fighting global rankings. I should let people know. So no matter who wins, I will say they're
good.
Jose, go ahead.
Tom Aspinall is very good. I still think John Jones would beat him, but he's supremely talented and a deserving. If like John's #1, Tom, Cyril, and Sergei are like 2, 3, 4. In some order. Like, I don't really know who's above what because they all have a lot of good fights. And then like if you want to throw Stipe in there, obviously, but he just has also like I'm on the board of like if you haven't fought in 18 months, you're out of the rankings. Like I totally agree with that. So if Stipe's not there, he's not there.
What about for John? Like, so let's say either Sergei or Tom wins, and then they actually manage to squeeze in a title defense before John Jones is back. Could, depending on who they fight, I don't know. Let's say one of them fights Ciryl Gane or Gelson Almeida and beats Almeida or beats Ciryl Gane. Can they then would an interim title defense bump them up?
I would definitely consider it.
Okay.
Like if Tom, like in this hypothetical world, if Tom, like say Tom taps Sergei and he goes and submits Gelson, yeah, that is a very serious conversation. Or like if Sergei knocks out Tom and then he takes that knocks out So that I know Thomas technically lost in the UFC, but that was such a bummer of an ending because he hurt himself.
Mhm.
If he's like really the first one to finish both Jailton and Tom, that's very impressive. So you'd have to have I would have a very serious conversation with myself about who be the number one heavyweight.
That's what makes this co-main so fun, I think, is like that we're probably requires a bit of looking ahead, a bit of projection. But even just the fight itself is great. And then, yes, what it could potentially mean for both guys, what it could mean for them.
That is also good. Like if Francis fights in MMA, could he jump back right into like the top 2, 3 or number one?
No matter who he fights.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on that, Jose?
Very interesting. I don't know, man, because he left very clearly number one. And he hasn't fought in almost 2 years at that point.
It'll be 2 years in January, yeah. No MMA fights.
I don't know, man. That's a very interesting question.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see who he fights.
Jose, what do you think about the people on our panel suggesting that they're going to put Francis on their Fighter of the Year list, which is, I don't think we've ever said you can't put boxers on there, but we've also never put boxers on there, and I think it was assumed. But also he's not just a boxer. I don't know. What do you think?
To each their own. I would not put him on my list of MMA fightings because, like, our website is MMA Fighting's Fighter of the Year, not most important fighter, because Francis is very clearly on the short list for most important fighters of the year. Talking about like activity in the octagon or smart cage or Bellator cage or Ryzen ring or whatever ring or cage you want to fight in. Didn't fight MMA. He's not on my Fighter of the Year list.
Casey, what was your? I don't know where you land on that. Again, we haven't had a formal debate about it or anything, but where do you land on that right now?
In the broad definition, Fighter of the Year, yeah, he is number one Fighter of the Year. But if we're talking mixed martial arts Fighter of the Year, then he can't be because he doesn't fight mixed martial arts. He is without a doubt Prize Fighter of the Year. I think that's the most important category is Prize Fighter of the Year because he might be the one. He might be. I don't want to say Prize Fighter of the decade, but
I don't know. So then at that point if we do Prize Fighter of the Year, the number 1 and 2 are probably like Francis and Dylan Dennis because they're the ones that we talked about.
God.
Which would be such a mind-boggling thing to like. I'm not saying it's wrong. It would just be such a mind-boggling thing to think about.
Casey, so officially, you do have a ballot on the esteemed MMA Fighting of the Year awards.
But I assume our Fighter of the Year, the assumption is it's a mixed martial arts participant, correct, and he is not a mixed martial arts participant currently. So he is not Fighter of the Year, but in a broad sense, Fighter of the Year, yeah, absolutely, he is.
I think he'll just get his own separate article, like not a list. I think we should just do a prize.
Yeah, he's created a new category.
He would Francis would be if we created a category of like storyline of the year. It's like Francis is number 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to be. I'm still feeling I know we talked about it a lot. I know we've written 9 million articles about it. But boy, I'm still like.
I don't like our fighter. I don't like how we do Fighter of the Year.
I don't like how we do any of our awards.
Just voting.
I don't believe in it.
Yeah. Because we do weird things like where if you fight on December 31st, it doesn't count.
Oh, I hate the rookie. Well, what I hate is Rookie of the Year. I hate Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year too. I was always issues with Rookie of the Year too.
Dumb. Oh, we don't count fights outside the UFC. I'm like, why? So it's a UFC only award. It's a UFC Rookie of the Year award. Anyway, I'm just hating on some of our coworkers while they can't defend themselves. That's how I roll. That's how I do. I don't want. Let's keep 2.5 minutes till the top of the hour. Let's not do the rain dance just yet. Okay, so let me check the poll. Sorry, I kept telling me let's check the poll and forgetting. Wow. Okay, it's surprising me. Not a huge sample size, but the answer to the question of who is the winner of the UFC 295 co-main event, MMA's number 1 heavyweight. Casey, 69% saying yes.
Wow.
Aspinall or Sergei Pavlovich, if they win, assuming we don't get a no contest draw, whatever, one of these guys is the number 1 heavyweight. And I said in MMA. I put in MMA, not just in the UFC. I said in MMA.
People like activity. People like activity.
And good. Good. I'm not arguing. I'm surprised. I thought more people would say no. I'm not disagreeing with anyone. There are a lot of people. Again, I've referred to some of the comments on our rankings that ask why. Sometimes there's people who are like, why is Stipe not on here? And sometimes the opposite. We have guys who haven't fought like 12, 13, 14 months, and people ask, why is this person still on here? So it goes both ways. Everyone has such varying standards for their rankings. I love rewarding activity. I would love it if more people, I think, said so, because I am leaning towards making Saturday's co-main event winner the number one heavyweight. I just cannot wait for that long for Jones to come back. I know it's not fair, but even if this weren't for a title, I might do it. If this was a 3-rounder or like a fight night main event or something, which would be terrible, but if it wasn't on pay-per-view and it wasn't for an interim title, I might even still consider making the number one. I think that highly of both guys.
It would be tough because I do account for championship pressure, and
Sure.
that is different. So,
Yep.
and that's what we're going to get from that. I mean, that's what Pavlovich and Aspinall are getting. They're getting that pressure. The expectations like, well, now we're paying good money to watch you fight. This ain't no free ESPN Plus card, And I think that is important in talking about the overall kind of ranking of a fighter. And since because that's part of the game. How do you handle that?
Yeah, and that's why that's why we have such like reverence for George St. Pierre, Anderson Silva, the guys who stuck around and defended their titles.
Demetrius Johnson.
Demetrius Johnson, there you go. Jose Aldo.
Or,
there's that era that we lionize, and for good reason.
MMA history.
Oh.
All right, next fighter to the scale, one half of the co-main event competing for the interim UFC heavyweight title, the fourth ranked heavyweight contender, Tom Aspinall.
Tommy Aspinall.
Oh, he's not wearing a sexy shirt. Bummer.
261.6. It is way for the Honey Badger, Tom Aspinall.
261.6 for the Honey Badger, Tom Aspinall. That is one half official for Saturday's interim heavyweight championship co-main event, thrown together when we lost John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. We're still waiting for his opponent.
It
Sergei
is weird that it is for the interim, consider how the UFC has handled, the 205 belt. But
yeah, I think that's what I was asking before, and why one of the commenters was pointing out. Like, it was such a weird situation with Jiri where he vacated it as soon as he was injured. Even when that happened, we were like, why is Jiri doing this exactly? Like, we were so confused why he was doing it. But he's kind of a unique cat as it is. So I don't know if it was his call, the UFC's call, but he seems okay. He's like, yeah, I know I'm not going to fight for a while, so take the belt off of me. And this is, as you pointed out, Casey, why we've ended up in this bizarre scenario with multiple vacant light heavyweight title fights. Fingers crossed that ends on Saturday. But
it's such a weird thing to like how we look at it as media and fans, because if the UFC, I'm betting if the UFC would have, if Jones had vacated and this was for the undisputed whatever UFC heavyweight championship belt, I don't think there would be a lot less questions in who the number one heavyweight is. But because a couple guys in suits in the UFC offices said, "Nah, we're gonna make it interim," it's still the same thing.
Well,
but yeah, go on. Sorry.
Well, I think it's like we just had this big long conversation about prize fighting and making a lot of money. John Jones with the belt just makes more money than John Jones.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think this is like long-term storytelling. Like when John comes back, whether it's a unification or a fight against Stipe, that's going to make a boatload of money.
Yeah. And they want to put John on the poster with a belt.
Yeah.
They don't want to put just John, heavyweight John kind of, which is,
Plus, like, say John vacates the belt and then comes back and win it. That doesn't count as a title defense. And then, that doesn't add to the resume or the record book. And, like, if he, defends it against Stipe and say there is a world where he defends it against the interim title and he defends it one more time, and all of a sudden John has the most heavyweight title defenses in UFC history. Long-term storytelling, I guess.
Damn you and your logic, Jose Youngs. Damn you and your cold logic.
Follow the money.
See,
Follow the
I
money.
can't even. I have nothing.
The
Yeah.
money.
Someone at MMA fighting has to speak logically, and I've taken that upon myself in the last 12 months.
I can't refute anything you said. Those are all good reasons not to have John Jones lose the title. That's commenters who are mad about this.
Well, all the good reasons benefit John Jones and the UFC. They don't
And the
benefit
UFC.
Pavlovich or Aspinall.
For sure. Unless they fight John, because I would imagine if they do a title unification, like I would imagine Tom or Sergei, they would love a 2 belts on the poster if they're on one half of the fight, rather than like just being like, obviously they want the belt, but standing like John having a belt and then having a belt, that just makes me more money too.
That's a giant if. John,
The UFC has
but
not.
I agree. But I do agree with you. I do agree.
They love interim titles. This is not a secret. They don't not. Other than that one moment.
They
that
love
one
interim
moment.
titles until they didn't love interim
I also
titles.
I also genuinely think like Jiri had just won it and he had never defended it. Like George blew out his ACL back like after the Jake Shields fight, right? And then he didn't vacate it, and then he fought Condit. Now George is obviously, like, again, one if not 2 greatest fighters ever. If Jiri had like 5 title defenses, I bet he wouldn't have vacated it. He's just a new champ. He just kept like same as Jamall Hill. I think that also plays a little bit.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Again, stop bringing facts onto the show. Stop bringing your cold, hard, robotic logic onto the show. It's upsetting. It's upsetting me.
If
no,
Pavlovich and Aspinall if they were going to fight John next,
someone has to be reported.
Yeah.
These are not the kind of takes that go viral on Twitter, Jose. You're being too sensible. I need you to say stuff like Todd Duffy was a problem or something, with a Todd Duffy like knockout highlight reel and going like, this guy would have been UFC champion if blah 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 blah. That's the kind of stuff that I need to see.
He would have been champion if he didn't get knocked out so many times.
Get that blue check mark too, Jose. Where's your blue check mark? Come on, man.
I can't remember who said it, but it was like they lost to soccer. Like it was a football player, and they lost like 8-0 in like regular time, which is just like an absolute beat down in soccer. He's like, I mean, we would have won if the clock didn't run out. And I was like, that's very funny because it just hit the 90-minute mark. He's like, just clock right out. We were on our way.
Hold on, guys. I gotta update something here. Okay. What was I just about to ask about? Oh, Casey, we should do a rain dance. That's what I was gonna say.
You ready?
Let me take a sip of agua. A moment. Uno momento, por favor. I don't want my voice to crack, as it often does.
I still think this should be undisputed. I don't think this should be for interim.
Hey, this is why we have the rankings, Casey. You be the change you want to see. Whoever wins, make them the.
How about
the champ.
Never mind.
Make them number 1. Let me say, we have done the right thing from day one with the Jiri Procházka injury. We have never taken him out of the number 1 spot. I don't even know if anyone else on the panel. No, and I think he's been unanimous. I think even after Jamall Hill won.
Yeah, because he never missed 18 months. Yeah.
Yeah, we kind of hoped and expected he would be back sooner rather than later, and we're justified in it. So it's fine. I don't blame people for putting other people number 1, like putting Jamall Hill number 1 after he won, beat Glover, whatever. I don't agree with it. People know I put Jamall pretty damn low.
Yeah.
But we as a group kept Procházka number 1, and I think we'll be justified in that until Pereira knocks him out on Saturday. Then I don't know what we're gonna. That's a whole other rankings discussion. And then pound for pound, by the way, if it wasn't already annihilated by Sean Strickland beating Izzy, Pereira becoming 2-division champion, I honestly have no idea what to do with the pound for. I mean, just make him number 1 at that point. I don't know. Okay, let's do a quick rain dance. We can discuss that more after. All right, guys. At the top of the card, that's right, we just saw Jiri Procházka weigh in not too long ago at 204.2 and his vacant light heavyweight championship bout with Alex Pereira, who came in at 204. Wait, do we have someone else coming in? Did the rain dance work? I'll keep going. Alex Pereira at 204, so that the main event is official. We're still waiting on Sergei Pavlovich, but his opponent for the interim heavyweight title, Tom Aspinall, successfully weighed in 261.6. former strawweight champion Jessica Andrade looking to snap a career worst.
The music, the music, the piano is not going. What are you doing?
Fantastic. I'm sorry, I just didn't know if we are just looking at the curtain on standby or if we see someone. Oh, here we go. I think they're just messing with us though.
Just you.
They're excited about this curtain.
Well, it's working. They're just testing the curtain, Casey. Yep, opens. Good. Oh, okay. Here we go. Mackenzie Dern.
Thank you, baby.
115.6 for Mackenzie Dern, and her fight with Jessica Andrade is official.
You want her?
Boom. So now we are just waiting on Sergei, Pavlovich, Roosevelt Roberts, and John Castaneda. So it doesn't feel like we're going to have a lot of drama. Fingers crossed. I know I shouldn't say those things. I don't mean to jinx. Jamall Emmers. I'm sorry. I said the hyphen. Jamall. I feel like I've done this to Jamall Emmers before. I don't know why, and I apologize, Jamall. Punch me in the face if you're fighting in. If you see me at UFC 297 in January, punch me right in the face.
That goes for not just Jamall Emmers. Anyone that sees AK.
Let's just make it a Jamall Emmers only policy for now.
Are you sure?
We will see.
Sure?
We will discuss expanding the AK Lee face punching as we get closer to January 20th.
It's your face. It's your face.
If I see AK, if AK and I see each other in Toronto, I'm not even gonna say hi. I'm just gonna run up and just bare knuckle punch him square through the mouth.
You might want to be wearing gloves. You might be wanting to be wearing
bare
mittens.
knuckle.
It's pretty cold. It's pretty cold up here.
No.
Especially come January.
My hands will be so numb. I'm gonna punch him. He's gonna be picking up teeth with broken fingers.
I'll need it because you may need to warm me up for Sean Strickland, who may not be happy with some of the criticisms I've had of him on social media and on some of our shows. But we will cross that bridge when we come to it sometime. So, but yeah, Sean Strickland.
You're gonna be at his little press conference.
It's all He doesn't even know who I am. First of all,
he will.
So no one tell him. Let's
be clear. I can't wait for media day.
Oh my goodness!
Right, but this way, I have some discussions with editorial and with some other affiliate websites that I have to go through for getting ready for that media day. Jose, you better be up there. You better be coming to Toronto in January.
Oh, I'm there, dog.
Sweet.
Who else is Sean Strickland gonna pick on at media day?
I'm not. We're not sitting together during media day because Sean Strickland's gonna have a field day with that.
I wouldn't sit next to you even if he wasn't there.
I mean, yes, that's obviously understood, but I'm just saying, just now that we're working together, let's not break routine. Sean Strickland, Dricus Duplessis, and more importantly, vacant bantamweight title fight between Mayra Bueno Silva and Raquel Pennington coming to Toronto on January 20th, UFC 297. So I'm excited about that, guys. You will see me on site, I believe. I don't know for sure. I have not.
I am very excited for that bantamweight championship fight. I don't know what is wrong with these UFC fans, but Bueno Silva has had a heck of a run.
There are people that work at MMA that have been roasting that online, and I was like, I don't like what's happening right here because I agree with Casey. Don't hate that fight.
Don't hate it at all. Now, the bantamweight division as a whole. I get that. That's the UFC 100%. And MMA worldwide has not really done enough to build up that division. But that fight itself, it's aces.
I like it. It's the right matchup to make.
I'm happy the UFC didn't punish.
I'm happy
UFC didn't truly punish Bueno Silva for the the PD thing or whatever.
That seems that's not a PD.
Wasn't
it's a banned substance. It's not a PD. It's a banned substance.
Banned substance.
Not the same thing. That's fine. I'm very sad that was turned to a no contest. But we all saw it. It does not get erased from history.
I'm hoping. I don't know how it works. The UFC doesn't take away the win bonus, right? Because the UFC loves making money. So
That's a great question. I would assume not. That would be
Okay,
super
I'm-
messed up to retroactively take away the win bonus from like months ago. I can't imagine.
for something that they aren't truly punishing.
Yeah, I gotta say, based on the
sort of-
fact that they put her in this one half of this vacant title fight, I think they're fine. I think there's an understanding, because they're not the ones who made it no contest, right?
No,
It's the commission call.
it was the
So
commission. Right. It was the commission, not USADA, correct?
it was the commission, I believe, Nevada State Athletic Commission, I believe,
Which is different from USADA.
which different from USADA, who soon enough, with the countdowns on, guys, will not be involved in drug testing, as far as we know. So instead, it will be the Drug Testing Agency of America or something.
You just
I
made
know that
up. Just
I
like
know
the
that
UFC
sounded made up, but I'm pretty sure the real name.
Drug Testing Incorporated.
drug free sport
It's Dare.
international.
AK, just say Dare's taking it over.
It's Dare. They're wearing Dare shirts.
I wish it. Can you imagine? I wish it was Dare.
That would be awesome.
DFSI. That's get used to saying that, guys. DFSI.
Every fight week they have the new Jeff Novitzky give the fighters a Dare T-shirt.
Oh my gosh! And one of the fighters like, I would love to see some PSAs being done. Oh my god, that would make me so happy. How many people in the comments are getting this Dare reference? I don't know, but.
Okay, focus.
Okay, I'm sorry. It looks like we have someone. No, they're checking the curtain again. Okay, opens good. Open function.
Wrong screen.
So,
AK.
hey, Sergei Pavlovich.
Sergei, he's weighing in right now.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking
Wrong
at the screen.
259.8, the official weight for Sergei Pavlovich.
259.8 for Sergei Pavlovich, and our interim heavyweight title co-main event is now official. Here we go.
Look at
So
that.
again,
No red on that screen yet.
I'm a little concerned for Roosevelt Roberts. He took this
Short
fight
notice.
on less than a week's notice. Yeah, I would say 4 days, but I don't know exactly when he
Why
got
does
the
the
call.
UFC do that short notice and you have to make it 55? Just make it 160. Come on, man.
And again, look, we even have.
Why are we murdering fighters or sign a 45er? You know?
We even have two fighters, again, Kyung Ho Kang and John Castaneda, who apparently just said, hey, do you want to fight at 138 instead of 136? Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, those last 2 pounds are going to be a pain. So it's negotiable. It's obviously negotiable. But it could be. I don't know. Maybe they propose. I should say maybe they proposed it to Rebecki's side, and it was not was not agreed upon. So can't say for sure. It was never brought up. Maybe. And if you're Roberts, hard to pass up with the opportunity, right? A guy who probably should have been fighting in the UFC for the past couple of years anyway. Like there was really no great reason to cut him, or I should say not resign him. I assume. Sorry, it was not a resigning, not a cutting.
Yeah. He was an exciting fight. Had some losses, but they're against good competition. There's so many fighters we look and say, man, they've lost 4 times in a row, but here they come again. Like whatever, it's a different time with the UFC roster, and Roosevelt Roberts should have been there the whole time. And by the way, it's Roosevelt? Was it Roosevelt or Roosevelt with the 2 O's?
I say
It's always that's how you spell Roosevelt.
Oh, it is.
this is true. I say Roosevelt, but I'm Canadian. So.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt had two O's.
Oh, it just looks so. It just looks like an extra O for no reason.
That's how it's been for a millennia.
I wasn't around that long. I don't know any
I live
Roosevelts.
on Roosevelt. I live on Roosevelt Ave right now in Phoenix.
Is it Roosevelt?
So he would know. Are you sure, Jose?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty positive because
I put 3. I usually put 3 O's.
Yeah, to make sure it's Roosevelt. You like Roosevelt.
the streets that go horizontal in downtown Phoenix are all named after presidents. So like it goes like Washington, Jefferson, but there's like a Taylor, Van Buren, Roosevelt, all that jazz.
Give me your top 10 favorite presidents.
Lincoln, probably.
Yeah, Lincoln, number 1, baby,
Solid.
number 1.
Pretty
Lincoln.
boilerplate, but a solid.
Lincoln, yeah.
Lincoln.
Solid pick.
I like Lincoln, Kennedy, FDR. I like Teddy, honestly.
His whole big game hunting thing kind of threw me off.
Yeah, but he did a lot for national parks.
Yeah,
He did a lot for
I agree.
us.
National
did a
Parks
lot.
thing. National
He's
Parks
the
thing.
reason. He's the reason why. So people are always confused with why Teddy Roosevelt was on Mount Rushmore because, like, obviously, Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence and Constitution stuff, and Washington was #1, and then Lincoln speaks for herself. But because it's a national park, so they put the president up there that did the most for a national park. And that's Teddy Roosevelt. So I'll include him on there.
Watch the
Those are pretty
National
easy
Parks
ones.
documentary by Ken Burns. It's amazing.
Yep, I like Monroe and Madison a lot. I'm not a big Jefferson fan. Washington, I think, was good.
For the time, yeah.
I mean, Washington was just like the first, and he established.
He's like Hoist, you know. He was there first, you know, dominated. I get it.
Well, he was also the one that was like, no, 2 terms is enough. Like, we don't want like a dictatorship. Like, we should have fresh faces. I think that's really important. Kennedy's pretty good.
All right. What's your AK? Give me top 5 favorite prime ministers.
The original Trudeau. Can I name 5 Canadian prime ministers? Really?
Jeez,
Changing the subject. Troy is filming wants to know, Jose, is Lincoln a light heavyweight contender? If he was alive today.
He was a 45.
Say it again.
Lincoln, would he be a light? Could he compete? He was a tall man, right? Famously tall.
He was a college wrestler, right?
Well,
there was a lot of stories about him. Yeah,
quite literally the tallest president ever.
Mm-hmm. Would he be? What do you think? He'd compete at light heavyweight?
Well,
could he be a contender?
Honestly, Kate, he could be, because I know Lincoln was tall, but I think he walks around at like $180. So, like, theoretically, that's kind of what lightweights walk around at. But he was also very tall, so I feel like he'd cut more. He'd probably be like a 6'9" welterweight.
Here's a better question.
He was 6'4". Yeah, no, 6'4". He couldn't have made. He definitely was a welterweight, a skinny welterweight for sure.
What?
Yeah.
Here's a better question. What American fighter would make for a good president?
I'm not answering that question.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out.
Actually, I would vote for Chris. That's what I would vote for.
Oh, I was gonna say Angela Hill. I think Angela Hill would be.
Oh, okay. No, I'll vote Angela Hill. You're right.
I think that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting.
Angela Hill for president. I mean, yeah.
Perseverance, man. That's what I say. I want that perseverance. You know what I mean?
We would get a lot more. We would get a lot more space exploration.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
This country would be way cooler if Angela Hill was our president.
Unquestionable. Yeah, unquestionable. I don't know a lot about her policy, but would the country be cooler?
Oh yeah.
Hells yeah. So Angela Hill would be probably
next time. Next time you interview Angela Hill, is like, tell me about infrastructure.
Yeah. People are saying Drew Dober. Someone shouted Drew Dober. I mean, he looks like a presidential candidate. I mean, he's got the chin for it.
Drew Dober looks like a G.I. Joe character.
He's a secret. Oh, we already got the box.
The box.
Whoa. Well, I guess we know why this was made 138.
Because of that mustache.
Shave it. No. It's worth it. It's worth it. If you miss, it's worth it.
Are you looking at the right screen, AK? You've been confused on this recently.
I don't know. I'm not looking at any screen right now.
Okay. Good job.
Okay. Yeah.
137.6.
There you go.
137.6. The official weight for John Castaneda.
137.6 for John Castaneda. His 138-pound catchweight bout with Kyung Ho Kang is official.
The box of redemption. Oh, he walked away, Heidi.
Yeah. Get him. I see some names in here.
He looks way better with a mustache. Like, it works.
Come on, sit in your first fight. Right here. 5, 4, 3, 2. There we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thank you.
And the glasses. He's rocking the EKC today.
Yeah.
He's rocking the EKC.
You know what? I'm changing my pick. I had Kong. Okay.
I'm seeing, by the way, I'm seeing some answers to the president question. Fighters from other countries, guys. I did say, I mean, I shouldn't even had to specify American fighter, but you guys are aware. Again, I don't know a lot about politics.
How old is Drew Dober?
Oh, he's on like 35.
Oh, because you have to be 35 to be
Yeah.
president of the United States.
That's what Angela Hill.
He-
Angela Hill's 37.
Yeah, he
I
is.
think.
He is 30. He turned 35 a month ago. So there you go, right on that line. I mean, future president. I want any of these guys to be president now. I mean, future president. Wonder Boy.
Yeah,
Yes, we were saying Wonder Boy. Stephen
Angela Hill
Thompson.
does fights. She has fights in her contract. She can't be president.
Stephen Thompson. There you go.
Fights
People
in
throwing
a
that out there.
contract and fights at the debate field, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Chael
hate
Sonnen.
debates
I
so
mean,
I got it.
Chael Sonnen.
I'll
Listen,
take it.
Chael
No,
Sonnen.
not
Love him or
Chael,
hate
not
him.
Chael. No.
Not Chael, but love. But listen, they're right. This comment from Screw You is not. I wasn't saying Screw You. This is the name of the commenter. Casey says he speaks like a typical politician. A lot of words with emptiness behind them. He does know the political speak. He is comfortable on camera. That is for sure. So
AK, answer that comment. Read that comment.
sorry. Which did you put on screen? Am I staring at the right screen? Which one?
Oops. Oh, not that
Sean's,
one.
oh, I was gonna say I saw a couple of those anyway. Sean Strickland. I mean, again, another guy not afraid to share his opinion. I haven't watched any movies recently. Did you watch? Did you guys watch Killers of the Flower Moon? Yeah, it looks excellent. I can't wait to see it.
If you watch it,
I
if
just
you have
watched.
if you have an Alamo Draft House in your city, go see it at Alamo Draft House. Because it's a insanely good movie.
It's so
It
long.
is long. It is long, but not in a bad way. But you are
I
going to
was
be
just
sitting
gonna-
there watching.
Casey, did you? I'm curious because like
Yes.
AK, I already know the answer to AK's. So we learned about everything that happened in that movie in high school because it's like a very important trial. Did you know about that? Everything that happens before the movie?
I had never heard of it in my life. That
wild.
was one.
See,
Beyond the movie being amazing, I was just like kind of like just angry at my education. I grew up in Texas too, so it was only just south of Oklahoma, and I'd never heard of that. But I also never heard of the whole Tulsa bombings either until I saw it basically in The Watchmen.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Those things aren't taught. It was
So you
just
never
not
heard
taught.
about Black Wall Street? You never heard about like Black Wall Street and everything?
I've heard of Black Wall Street, but I didn't really understand the scope of it.
Man.
Like I kind of heard of it, but I didn't, but you don't really understand it. It's just
moving from New England to Arizona. I've rapidly realized how much better the education system is in New England than almost anywhere in the country. Because I would like bring up things and like I've never heard of this in my entire life, which is just crazy to me.
No, never heard it at all. Was not taught. And I took we had to take a whole year of Texas history, which is basically a bunch of propaganda too.
Yes.
But hey, go education.
We don't have to get into American history.
Yeah.
We've got more president answers here. Nick says Stipe. Oh, go ahead, Jose. Go on.
Stipe would be, I don't know. No, he would.
Nick say,
I mean, you'd have to get him a translator.
Nick says that. Nick says that's a benefit. You can't understand a word he says. So if he accidentally dropped some secret, some secret, no one would understand.
That's a very good point. You can put out his own fires. I just watched. I got a sneak preview of The Killer, which is going to be a Netflix movie.
I can't wait to see that.
But so it's a Netflix movie, but it's based off of a French comic book. So I have a lot of friends in like that industry. So they did a premiere in theaters, and one of the premieres was in Arizona, so I got a free ticket. It was very good. It's not going to win any awards, but I enjoyed the not a lot of verbal dialogue, a lot of inner monologue.
Cool.
A lot of inner monologue. Interesting.
It's also because it's about an assassin. It's about an assassin, so it's a lot of like him by himself.
Sure.
And there's a lot of shooting and violence and stuff, but it's not John Wick violence. It's like Pulp Fiction violence, where it's like just, oh man, that just happened out of nowhere, and it's not like gratuitous violence. It's like very much more realistic of like how a person would look and react to being shot, rather than like their whole arm exploding off.
That's like way more disturbing.
Yes, very much so.
Okay. People saying Matt Brown. Yeah, listen, he talks a lot. He's you guys can catch Matt Brown's thoughts every week on Fighter versus Writer with our own Damon Martin. So definitely check that out.
I thought we already settled this. Angela Hill for president.
Listen, this is just that was us, Casey. I gotta read the voice of the people. Listen, the people don't like me sometimes, but I gotta read what they say. This is their show. This is really their show.
Better question. Who would be the president from MMA fighting?
Mike. There you go. That's my answer.
I'm gonna give it to
All
Gui.
right.
Give it to Gui.
Yeah.
Again, not American, but you know.
Why you hating Gui? Because he ain't American. Gui.
Jose, you teach. I'm Canadian. Don't you?
I will marry
Gui
to make him American.
I don't think that's how it works. Don't you not?
To be fair, AK. Casey's also from another country called Texas, so he hasn't learned about any of this.
And this is true. I've heard several presidents have come from this foreign country called Texas. So, I guess you're right. There's a precedent for it.
Foreign policies, man.
Oh, someone's saying Esther. Of course. Were she still officially with us? She's the answer by far.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, fortunately, she's got her own things going on. So, what did other people say? I saw one. Oh, Jordan Levitt. A lot of people said Jordan. They like Jordan Levitt. They like the cut of his jib.
Jordan
funny
Levitt,
guy, kind of quirky, kind of funny guy.
I
know he's not American, but I wish he was. Nicholas Dalby. I love Nicholas.
Oh wow, that dude's been through it.
We don't deserve. America doesn't deserve.
You're Jose's correct. Jose's correct. America and MMA fans don't deserve Nicholas Dalby.
User screw you also suggesting Dustin Poirier, local politician in Louisiana. I could actually see there's a lot of fighters from this generation who I could see becoming local politicians 10, 15 years from now. I don't think that's crazy.
Dustin's not bad.
Joey Tremendous says Nick Diaz. He wouldn't want it. I see it. If you want to find someone who has zero interest in being the president of the United States of America.
What about retired MMA fighters?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, retired fighters as well. Absolutely.
No, I'm trying to think of who's retired. That'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Julie Kedzie.
Rosie Sexton, or somewhere in England.
Yeah.
Actually,
Julie Kedzie would be great. Whatever. Again, not yep. If you're saying do a poll for that. Now, there's too many names, guys. I don't want to restrict it to a few names.
Can you do the option where you write in the fan question? I never used that one on not the poll, but as I ask a question.
Yeah, but I think it's running maybe it's running its course now, so I don't know if I want to throw it out there. Forrest, plus the answers are still coming in anyway. Forrest Griffin. Forrest I like because he's one of the few guys. This is going to be calling some veterans out, but who was given one of those UFC office jobs by Dana White, but actually
does
kind of does stuff. As far as I know, he's kind of volunteered to if I'm getting paid anyway, and I have this whatever his role is at the UFC. Can I do this? Can I do this? Can I be part of this? I'm like, that's kind of just how Forrest is, right? So I think he'd be a great politician. Rampage, I don't think that's a great idea.
No,
don't think that's a good idea.
No, I've watched Idiocracy. I saw a Rampage look, I guess, president.
Oh, Jay Beal's there. Brian Stan. It would surprise me if he does not. He is in what? He's in private finance or whatever, some sort of business thing, right? But he pretty much has the profile of a future politician, right? It's someone who is he's working in business now. He used to be, he was prominently in the military. Just looks presidential, has a degree of celebrity already from being in the UFC. I would be very surprised if he's not, again, a local politician, something like that. Maybe not president. But
Miriam Nakamoto name drop in there. Shout out to Miriam. Okay. Yeah, I saw Miriam a few months back at the gym. Said hi.
Miriam Nakamoto.
Miriam Nakamoto is one of the gosh darn it, injuries. She could have been, I think, potentially such a giant MMA star, but knee injuries and timing just kind of ruined her career. But man, she could have been a big time UFC kind of breakthrough star. But unfortunate.
Yeah, the timing just wasn't right. I'm seeing James Krause. You know, he's got some controversies around him. Probably he's not going to be available to.
Tell me more.
Probably
Tell me more.
not a great. I mean, you know what though? He would certainly wouldn't be the first politician to go into office with past controversies. So you know what?
Get
Maybe he
out.
does fit the bill. Maybe he does fit the bill better than.
Dude, when's
Suggesting.
that coming to some sort of resolution?
It's going to be a
Because,
while.
no,
I think it's going to be years.
Oh man, because we kept talking about like, no, is this gonna be the story of the year? You know, and it kind of happened, and we kind of, you know, UFC kind of sent some emails out and changed their policies, but that's still out there.
Well, as most things involving high level government agencies, I'll say, they can take, as we see with this antitrust lawsuit, things can take decades to actually reach, court and everything.
Mm-hmm. That's why I remember, and you're right. You bring up a good point, Casey, because I remember just like I don't know. We haven't whatever. We're not writing about James Krause every day. Probably since the last story was written, I still see comments pop up like, "Oh, what's going on with the James Krause trial? What's going on with the James Krause investigation?" And it's like, it's ongoing, guys. MMA is one of the ultimate fast food, sports. I get it. You guys want the answers right away.
We call them? You know what we call them?
Be nice. Be nice.
Because
what?
we call them looky-loos because they just are. They need to know. They can't comprehend like due process.
Mm-hmm.
Like my dad is a prosecutor, so he deals with a lot of high-profile cases, and reporters are constantly like, "Give us an update." And my dad's like, "The same thing I told you 5 days ago. There is nothing to tell you right now."
But James Krause thing, we've had like zero updates for like I feel like a year.
But that is the people dealing with that invention are so high up the food chain that like they are not even working in like the realm of like local crime. This is like it is going as fast and is probably involving a lot more people than just James Krause.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like this isn't the kind of case that like TMZ should be getting scoops on. You know what I mean? Like it's not one of those things. That's how you know it's serious, right? Guys, there's less than 25 minutes to weigh in. I'm a little concerned. Again, we did say Roosevelt Roberts, such a gamer, former UFC fighter, Ultimate Fighter 31 semifinalist, taking this fight on, I believe, 4 days' notice. He might have gotten the call earlier. I don't know. Definitely less than a week. He definitely did not get this call on more than a week's notice.
I hope he doesn't get too sick and not be able to take the fight or crazy.
He's not a small lightweight either.
No, he's not.
Pretty tall and rangy. He's the kind of guy who I would imagine needs a. Though again, he did do the Ultimate Fighter, so maybe he knows his body well. He is accustomed to.
Yeah, but you knew when you were fighting.
But
yeah,
this was I don't know if he was in game shape. Maybe hoping for an opportunity soon, but it's hard. I hope he comes and makes it. But he's not a small lightweight.
You just can't keep yourself at fight weight for just months and months on end. You just can't. I'm super happy Roosevelt Roberts got re-signed, but I really wish for, especially on fights that are like on a week and a half notice, sign a 45er, sign a fighter one weight class down, and just have him. If the original opponent wants to fight at that weight and won't agree to a catch weight, which I'm assuming Mateusz wouldn't do.
I'll just airdrop it to her.
Oops. I'm assuming Mateusz wouldn't do, so I just wish they would have brought in a 45er.
I know it would have made more sense, but
we
don't know.
It's just safer.
Screw you commenting. I'd love to see someone get an hour-long interview with James Krause in a year or two. First of all, that's almost definitely not going to happen. Secondly, if he ever does an hour-long interview or something again, you can guarantee he won't be able to say jack S about this case. He will not be publicly.
He's not going to talk about his watch or his Patreon page or whatever. Or like
he maybe should have been doing. Boy, some of those MMA clips have not aged well. Aged well, Casey.
Great.
I think those clips have been subpoenaed. Actually, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if we can even show those anymore. I think they are legal documents now. He will not be doing interviews, and if you ever again see him publicly again, he will not be talking about this case in any substantial way. It's just not possible. It's just not possible. Tenzin N wants to know: are there any UFC fighters, current or former, that went to an Ivy League school? And then he names he said phony Turgeson. I don't know.
That's a good question. Actually,
because You think you would know, because that is something the UFC would push hard.
Okay, yeah. Definitely not a high level. I'm sure there are a few professional fighters who fought, whatever regionally, but on a high level.
Oh man,
I can't even name the Ivy League school.
Didn't Jake Butler go to Princeton?
Who's Jake Butler?
Fight in the UFC or Bellator? Or am I making that up?
I'm gonna look this up right now for you,
I am
sir.
also fairly certain MMA Fighting wrote an article about it because I consume the product.
This is an impressive poll. All right, so I have got Jake Butler's Tapology here. 7-3. You're fought for 1 championship, Jose. And college listed as Princeton University.
Oh, why am I so good at my job?
It's shocking how good you are at your job sometimes. I'm not gonna lie. It is impressive how professional you are. Yes, 1 championship. I believe he's still. Oh, this is a while ago. He suffered a knee injury in his most recent fight, and it looks like has not returned. Maybe he went back to Princeton. That's a pretty good fallback if you're trying to be an MMA fighter and you still have the option to go back to Princeton. He's probably doing okay. So I don't know, guys. If you guys have updates on Jake Butler, let me know. Hopefully he's okay. Again, I'm being pretty optimistic about it. But what's Miranda Maverick doing? She did not go to Ivy League, but she's like doing 2 degrees or something while she's fighting, and she is just a superstar. Oh jeez, sorry, I thought I almost closed the feed there. Am I still here? Yes, I am. Kay Hansen was not going to Ivy League. I think she was going to
not Kay Hansen. No, she didn't. No,
she was going to. Where was she going to go? She was going to go to a big school. I interviewed her about this. My God, why can't I find this? Yes, actually. Okay, so she was probably going to go to Harvard on a softball scholarship. This is what I am told. I don't remember if she actually, because she had the grades for it, I believe. And Harvard, I think, was one of her options. Again, I don't know if she was accepted and she passed. I don't think it got that far. I don't think she signed but I believe she was offered a scholarship to Ivy League, and specifically Harvard. I did interview her about this. So I see someone asking accepted. I'm not saying accepted. I don't know if she's accepted. Again, like I said, I know there was a scholarship offer. I heard she had the grades for it. Did not confirm independently with Harvard, I should say. So could be a bit of bump from K. I don't think so, but seems believable to me. Athletic scholarship seems entirely possible. So there's one, but
I think Jake Butler was our answer. We even wrote an article about it.
Jake Butler's our answer.
Oh,
yes. Well,
MMA Fighting did an article about it.
Yeah.
I will say the question did say UFC fighters, but I do think we should expand to MMA fighters in general because I am really curious how many possibly.
Yeah, written by the great Mike Chiappetta.
Yes, there you go.
Princeton
wow. Oh right, this is 2018.
Butler
right.
left behind a bright career and big money to chase the MMA dream. Jake Butler had it all.
Can you name all the Ivy League schools?
Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not, and I swear I'm not looking this up. Brown.
Not that. There's only like a handful.
It's like six, right? 6, isn't it? 6, 7.
There's like 6.
Brown.
7,
yeah. Brown, Harvard, Princeton, obviously. Dartmouth.
Yep.
Now I feel like I'm missing some obvious ones. I always say Stanford. I know Stanford is not an Ivy League school, but it is. Yeah.
Well, because all the Ivy Leagues are in the northeast.
That's it. I can only name 4.
So there's Brown, Columbia, Cornell,
Cornell,
Princeton, University of Penn, and Yale.
You said Penn. Oh, Yale. Oh, God.
Yale. You forgot Yale.
Oh God! All our Yale-educated viewers now, Casey, are gonna just kill me now. They are just gonna kill me.
So it's because all of them I believe outside of Cornell. Were founded during the colonial times of America, which is why they're obviously the best, some of the best, if not the best education we get in America, but they're all like the oldest. And I think the only other 2 that were founded in the colonial times were Rutgers and I think William and Mary, if I remember correctly. But I only know all this because I grew up 2 miles away from Brown, so it's just part of part of our culture, named after, I think, John Brown, who, did a little bit of a trade. He traded some things. When I say things, when I say things, I mean people.
People. That's the way things were back then, man.
I know. It's like a very sore subject in Rhode Island.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah.
Yeah, because like Brown University is named after him, and technically every state is named like the state of California, the state of New York. Like, that's the actual like government state name. Rhode Island state name is technically, not even technically, it is literally the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, which is not the best. So like every year they put it up to a vote whether to remove Providence Plantations. It's getting closer and closer. But it's just part of the culture.
Damn, I can't believe I missed Yale. I do again apologize to Yale. I mean, I really apologize to every Ivy League school that I forgot, but Yale is such an obvious one. And again, I know most of our viewers are.
What's poor Yale gonna do? Oh, what are you gonna do?
Most of our viewers are Yale educated. Casey, I don't know if you know about this. So I really.
Oh, yeah, my apologies.
I really struck a chord.
My apologies to Yale alum.
I've embarrassed myself again. But what else is new? We're about 15 minutes away. I don't want to do a rain dance. I don't think it's going to make a difference. But we can open up. Should we just open up the floor to any questions? People might literally ask us anything. We're kind of already there already. We just don't even know.
Yeah, it's like, let's do what we were already doing, okay? Yeah.
Let's do what we're already doing. And now that I've said it, it seems like there's not too many questions going on. But
I mean, a lot of Jamall Emmers fans.
We are waiting on Jamall Emmers. Jamall. Was Jamall the Jose the fighter who did the ultimate? The fight is not official until they step into the cage. Oh, it wasn't him. It was him.
Was it him?
Yeah, the Chaz Skelly fight, the back spasms.
Well, the original one was who did James Krause fill in for in Houston?
Oh God. Right, like super last second.
Like literally, like they announced it like during the weights.
But Jamall Emmers was, remember, Chaz Skelly was in the cage, and then Emmers they were like, oh yeah, Emmers not coming out, he's got back spasms. And we were like, wow, and we were like, well, Jose says it all the time, it's not official. Nothing is official until they get in the damn cage. So Jamall Emmers has had an eventful UFC career, to say the least. Hopefully, no weight issues here.
He faced Trevin Giles on 1 day's notice, replacing Antonio Roy.
And he lost a very controversial split decision, did he not?
Super controversial.
Yeah,
but that was
scoring.
That was one KCI and Esther and Alex Savas actually covered that one too.
Shout outs, Alex Savas. Shout outs.
I miss working with her every day. That was like the John Jones Reyes. Remember, like Lauren Murphy, I think, fought Andrea Lee, and I believe in that James Krause Trevin Giles fight. Like one of the judges had ties to Trevin Giles, so it was like that whole card was controversial.
Oh yeah, I remember that whole that thing.
There was one round which was scored for Giles. I remember I can't remember it was round 1, and it was like, if you watch it, it's not like controversial in the sense that like, oh, could have gone either way. It's controversial in the sense that like, by the criteria, it's like there was almost no way you could have scored that round for Giles. It was really strange. If people remember that one, go back and watch. Speaking of James Krause controversies, this is one where I really don't think it was his fault.
I think the only reason we don't talk about it more is because the main event was so controversial.
What was the main event of that one?
Reyes and John Jones.
Oh, yes, one of my few certified robberies. I do consider that fight to be a robbery. Okay,
that was one of the few. I remember, and that was in Houston, right? Reyes.
Yeah.
I remember we watched that fight the next morning.
Yeah.
And we were like, because we were like, okay, maybe I had the wrong mind space. But we watched it the next morning. I think we were all even more convinced that Reyes won.
Yeah, and then we did the ill-fated coffee talk.
Yeah,
it was always fun.
That was a good watch, though. I just wish we could do more of that, but. All right, they look like they're getting ready for someone.
Mm-hmm. Any more questions, AK, you want to answer from the comments?
I just see someone joking. North London says Tony Ferguson taught at Yale and Harvard math and physics. You know, he's got the mindset for it. He's certainly. If you ask him, I'm sure he'd tell you he could have done it if you wanted to. By the way, I'm sorry, who is the guy what's this workout video stuff?
What are you talking about?
Huh? Oh, David
What?
Goggins.
Yeah,
Oh,
who is that?
God.
I'm
You
so
don't, you
sorry.
don't
I'm
know
so
who David
ignorant.
Goggins is?
He's-
I do not know who David
You're
Goggins
not a
is.
bro unless you know who David
I
Goggins
guess
is.
not.
God.
Well, who is he?
Emmers.
He seems pretty alpha.
He's the guy that jogs a lot and
Oh my
yells at you
God.
at the camera to like jog more like him.
Yeah, he seems
His
pretty
sense
alpha.
of his
Don't-
sense of like he's like, why would I sit on the couch when I could run 47 miles right now through the desert?
All right, Jamall Emmers. Looks like he's fresh from the sauna.
I think he's got is that a fresh cut to make weight?
Definitely. Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Right. Hold real quick. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What was it weight?
147. 1 pound over.
147.
Oh, okay.
I have
147
no
point
idea
what?
if I'm weighing to get. I think just 147.
Okay.
That's 147, Casey. Yes,
I don't
as
even
Jose
know
said,
if
we
they'll
don't
weigh
know.
in again.
We don't know.
Because I remember
Don't
last
be-
year. I remember last year for this card, Ryan Spann missed weight, but he missed it by like a pound or like he probably could have made it with another chance, but then they like didn't let him or something. I can't remember the exact details.
All right.
That was also when we had like a 24-person media day on Wednesday, which was chaos.
So AK, say it.
Well, that fight between Denis Buzukja and Jamall Emmers is not official, despite seeing both fighters at the scale. But it could be. It is just 1 pound. It is just 1 pound. So we don't know if he'll take another crack. I'm guessing he will, but
I'm
that is-
guessing not, because if he weighed in on the scale of 10 minutes left, to cut that weight again, that means you would have to raise your body temperature again, raise your heart rate again. That alone will take some time already. I mean, he'll lose.
That's easy. That's
Oh
easy.
yeah, okay.
He's
My
fine.
bad.
How much?
My bad.
Casey, again, you did not. I remember you did not have to cut a ton of weight for your fight, but you did have to cut weight. How much did you cut for your amateur fight?
No, I didn't cut. I didn't cut any weight. I actually gained. I actually had gained. I had to actually drink a smoothie before I weighed in.
Oh.
So
I remember you wanted to. You wanted
Yeah,
to
I want
try.
to go.
I remember you
I've
wanted-
cut.
you
I've
wanted to
cut
go
weight
to
for
it.
jiu-jitsu competitions.
Right.
A little weight, but and I weighed in the day before, but I haven't cut weight for a MMA fight.
2 years ago, I did not like an weight cut, but I did cut for a gym because I just really wanted 6-pack abs again, and I got it, and then I was the most miserable human being you would have ever spoken to. And then Thanksgiving rolled around, and I was like, pass, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, I've only cut 5 pounds for my jiu-jitsu competitions. I cut about 5. Yeah.
Okay.
My two amateur fights, we both the guy that I fought, we just weighed in it, like walk around the way, because we were like a pound or two away anyway.
That's Jamall Emmers. 147, 1 pound over. Not a small featherweight, so probably a very difficult weight cut. We are also waiting again for Roosevelt Roberts. Took this fight on extremely short notice,
Roosevelt Roberts,
and
that's it.
we are hoping that he comes in at least in the last 10 minutes, weighs in at all, because if we don't see him, there's a chance that this fight may not happen. Roosevelt Roberts is stepping in for... I completely forgot. Roosevelt Roberts is stepping in for... What in the world? Sorry, I have notes for these things, and I have betrayed myself with my lack of organization. Nurullo Aliyev. You guys can check his Instagram. He has pictures of an apparent leg injury. So Nurullo, get well soon. But yes, Roosevelt Roberts jumping on the opportunity, fresh off of a appearance on the hottest television show in America. I think that's fair to say, Casey. The Ultimate Fighter 31. Everyone was talking. I'm just like everyone every day. Oh my god, every day they're Ultimate Fighter 31. Did you watch the Ultimate Fighter 31 last night? I'm like, oh my god, yeah, obviously I did. Come on. You guys can go back and watch reruns of Tough Hang with EKC Lighten, Conor Burks, and myself. And here's the box again. Not a surprise. Again, if you're Roosevelt Roberts coming in short notice, not a surprise that he needs it. Let's hope it is a box of redemption.
Did you know this?
Roberts' opponent, Mateusz Rebecki, already successfully made 155.8. Roberts has to make 146 for this fight. 156, excuse me, for this fight to become official for Saturday. You can feel the tension. Jon Anik pacing around. When Jon Anik is nervous, you know it could be trouble. FPS addiction. Totally watching reruns of Tough all day. I mean, that's what I do. Season 1, Season 10. Whichever one was the heavyweight, Season 11. I think it was Season 10. Season 10. Takara Man 91. Roosevelt Roberts is going to his second UFC run, right? Correct. 4-3 in his first run with the promotion. Not a bad run at all, but went out on a couple of losses, I want to say. So, just did not get re-signed. Went back to the regional scene, 2-0. Popped up on The Ultimate Fighter and made it to the semifinals.
Yeah, he was very, very close to calling it a day and moving on in life as far as being a professional fighter.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I wonder what he does. I wonder if he has I'm assuming he has a day job because.
Casey, don't make me go back to my Ultimate Fighter notes because that's a spiral that I will gladly go down. I have notes on. I remember all their stories from the show. I can't remember. Did he have? Oh no, he did not. We know he did not have a dog.
No dog.
Or at least they didn't show it because he won on the show. So there was no dog curse. Yes, right. Roosevelt Roberts, only 29 years young, doesn't turn 30 until February, and yeah, taking another crack at it here. Another crack at the UFC camp. He has.
Yeah, the fact that this was only on a week notice and he's coming in the last second, they already have the box of shame out there. I'm really kind of dreading that we're not going to see the best Roosevelt Roberts tomorrow night. I think we already know we're not.
If the fight even stays together.
Yeah.
Right? We've said, fighters can have a difficult weight cut. Then we wake up Saturday, and usually around noon Eastern time, we get a UFC news alert. Here's a last second change to the card. This fight has been canceled for so-and-so not being medically cleared to fight, presumably in relation to a difficult weight cut. But I don't know.
Is it?
Female fight of the year or fighter of the year?
I think fighter.
Fighter of the year.
Oh no, fight of the year. They're asking fight of the year. Never mind.
Or is he asking for both?
Oh, both. No. Oh, he's at everything female related.
I like I was top of my head. Grasso Shevchenko too. I thought was really good. It's a shame about the controversy, but that fight was awesome.
Who's the fighter of the year? Female fighter of the year. Was both Grasso's victories this year, or was one?
Yeah.
20.
Well, one of them. She only has one victory. One of them was a draw, wasn't it?
Oh, but she retained. But were both fights in 2023?
Yep. One was March. One was September.
Yeah. Maybe
she would be very. It's her or Blanchfield. Because Blanchfield is also 2-0.
I was gonna suggest if Buena Silva wins. No, never mind. That's next year. That's next year. Never mind. You're right. Sorry. Oh, Roosevelt Roberts.
Yeah. Shout out also to Stamp Fairtex. Stamp Fairtex, by the way. I think also.
Stamp Fairtex. You might be right.
She's had a hell of a year. She's on a run. She is on a run.
She's your champ.
Here's Roosevelt Roberts.
Oh, he cut. I wonder if that's a fresh cut too.
I think so. I know him from on the show. He had the Rock on the Dreads.
He does not look happy.
This is a bad time.
Yeah. I'm guessing 158. What's your guess, AK?
Right on the money, Casey.
Wow.
Right on the money.
Wow. Amazing. I looked at that man. I was like, that's a 158-pound man.
He felt it. I imagine that will be it for Roosevelt Roberts.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And could be it for so his fight with Mateusz Rebecki, not official. Not official, guys. Plus Money MMA reminding us, thank you, Plus Money. He cut his hair off on the show to make weight. Okay, so he's done this before, or that he's had this haircut since the show. I don't know, I'm not sure, but yes, he did cut his hair to make weight before. So there we go. I think that'll be it for. Well, that'll be it for now. That'll be it for us. We don't even know if guys have been cleared to get a second cut.
We're not rain dance, but
Well, what I'm saying, we're gonna run it down, but I think that's it. We're gonna run it down, then move on. Let me just look at the schedule. Oh, Casey, one second. Let me look at this. Our schedule, our broadcast schedule ahead. I just want to get our preview show time right. Where is this?
It's a couple hours.
Okay. Well, that's not an exact time, Casey. People need to set their watches to our schedule. Okay. Let's rain dance.
And the scale is leaving. The scale is leaving.
Oh,
we are
no.
done.
Oh no.
All right.
Cue it up.
All right, here we go.
Cue it up.
Let me grab my keyboard. Oh, hi. And 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
All right, everyone. That has been the UFC 295 official weigh-ins. Well, I'll say the thanks to everyone after, but top of the card, our vacant light heavyweight title fight between Jiri Procházka and Alex Pereira is official. Procházka 204.2, Pereira at 204. In the co-main event, we have Sergei Pavlovich and Tom Aspinall battling for an interim heavyweight title after the loss of the John Jones-Stipe Miocic matchup. Pavlovich coming in 259.8, Aspinall 261.6. What could be a maybe not quite number one contenders battle, but it's going to put the winner not far away from a title shot. Former champion Jessica Andrade coming in at 116, Mackenzie Dern 115.6. Matt Frevola coming in at 155.6 for his lightweight bout with Benoit Denis, who came in at 156. That is a guaranteed banger. And opening the main card are featherweights Pat Sabatini and Diego Lopes. Sabatini 145.8, Diego Lopes 145.4. Flyweights Steve Erceg and Alessandro Costa were on weight. Erceg at 125.6. Costa coming in on short notice, replacing Matt Schnell at 125.4. Tabatha Ricci 115.4 for her fight with Loopy Godinez, who came in at 115. Mateusz Rebecki, 155.8. His opponent, Roosevelt Roberts, we just saw come in 158, 2 pounds over the limit for a non-title lightweight fight. We do not know if that fight is official. Roberts coming in on very, very, very short notice, less than a week's notice for Nurullo Aliyev, who suffered a leg injury. Nazim Sadykhov, 155.6 for his lightweight bout with Viacheslav Borshchev, 154.8. Lightweights Jared Gordon, Mark Madsen, also official. Gordon at 155.6, Madsen 154.6. Kyung Ho Kang and John Castaneda, scheduled catchweight bout. Neither guy missed weight. This was scheduled for 138. Kang coming in 138, Castaneda 137.6. Flyweights Joshua Van and Kevin Borges on weight, 125.8. Borges at 125.8. Shout out Lima, Peru. And Denis Bazukja made 145.6, but his opponent, Jamall Emmers, 1 pound over the limit for a non-title featherweight bout, 147. We do not expect Roberts or Emmers to re-weigh in, though we don't know for sure, I don't think. Otherwise, if those fights continue, they'll forfeit a percentage of their purse and they'll proceed at a catchweight. But that is it, guys. That was the official weigh-ins. Thank you. Please, thank you. Thank you everyone who tuned in. That was the MMA Fighting official weigh-ins live stream brought to you by the wonderful Jose Youngs with New York Rick also in the. Should we have shot to Rick? I assume Rick was busy doing things. Casey, you're muted.
Yeah, I guess. Let me see.
New York Rick, I'm sorry, I didn't throw to you. He was on the red carpet the whole time, holding the microphone, waiting for me to throw to
can
him.
we get New York Rick on? Hey, how's that?
Hey everybody.
Oh.
Hey New York, New York Rick. Was I supposed to throw to you? I assumed you were working.
No, we're done. We're
okay.
wrapped.
Oh, he sounds mad at me, Casey. I think he's mad.
Are you mad?
No.
Are you...
No. That's just my
later.
default. I have like resting B voice. Let's call it.
Okay. But I know New York Rick and Jose tearing it up on site. Turn up on the socials, guys. All the
Okay,
social
do you have
content
any
you see.
questions for New York Rick? He was
know.
there in person. He saw
Please, you
it.
bring me in. Say something to
I
me.
have
Now
to. I
am.
have to write number 1 heavyweight after Saturday. New York.
Oh.
Rick.
Francis Ngannou.
Oh, right. That's right. Francis man through and through, and justifiably so. But no, I do have to get to some other things, Casey. I'm sorry. This has been a party.
Sorry.
Thank you, New York Rick. Thank you, Jose, again, guys, being on site, taking care of all that coverage, the beautiful coverage we got today. Thank you, Casey Leiden, in the truck, handling all the technical doodads on the 1s and 2s. Wicka. Oh God, I'm so sorry. This has been your host, Alexander K. Lee.
Kenny.
We will have What's that? What am I looking at?
Kenny.
Hey.
What's up?
Hey, Kenny. What's going on?
Hey, hi, Kenny.
I'm not naming everyone that's on camera. I'm not going to do that. Just Kenny. We'll have the UFC 295 preview show live at 1:30 p.m. hosted by my best friend Mike Heck. And I will be there. I'll be joined by the esteemed Shaheen El-Shadi. Casey will be there as well. Again, 1:30 Eastern time today, 10:30 Pacific time.
Best time zone.
Look forward to that. There'll be a Q&A tomorrow with Mike and Casey, post-fight show, of course, and ceremonial weigh-ins. We'll have ceremonial weigh-ins as well. So stay tuned for all of that business, guys. We got you covered. Thank you for everyone here at MMAfighting.com.
Do the wicked thing. Do the
Wicka.